Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Don's Hot Rod Garage. Big Don with you. It's Sunday, November the 3rd, I believe. So I'll show you what I've been doing on the convertible. We'll kind of get a game plan together on what's next. So it's like the perfect light. One guy, Glenn, outboard tinker, he told me nothing looks the best as it does like when the sun's setting. And this is the first day of daylight savings time where you fall back, or however you want to say it. But the car's looking cool out here. So I got a spare grill hilt here that I got to remove this back bar at some point, and you got to drill out each one of them individual rivets all the way across both sides. So that's a future project, because the grill that's in this car, this part right here, see how it's been notched, and I believe these are, yeah, they're not like little Allen head with a nut on the bottom, so I won't have to grind nothing off on that. But that's one project, so it'll have the smooth, it'll look like that. That was notched for something. But what I did was take a step back here. I gotta look at the springs on this thing too, because I think them hood springs are weak. But I put all the wires in the wire looms, because on my last video when I fired it up, I was kind of like trying to keep the wires off of it, off the manifolds, so they didn't get burnt. And that was a little bit of a job to fish them through there, and it's got all the original holders, the brackets with the little grommets and stuff, so all that's checked off the list. And since I'm just learning about this car with power and everything, I always disconnect the battery, which is a good idea on all cars really that sit a lot. But I was going to fire it up, and I've already ran it out of fuel, and that thing was probably more than half full, so I've started it quite a bit. So I was a little bummed. I'm gonna have to get some fuel, because I like firing it up. And then I kind of like did a makeshift setup here to see if the generator would charge, but I don't think that regulator's any good, because I know that generator's good. I had that on the gasser at one point, but you can see how it's got the little brackets that hold the wires, and then would have been painted Chevy orange along with the intake, but I painted it cast aluminum to kind of give it a custom look. So I started to paint them Chevy orange, and it was going to look real awkward, so I went ahead and painted them a satin black. And on the other side, you can't really see it, it's way back in there. So that's cool. So now I can fire it up and things like that without melting wires. But this hood sits so low that I was cutting my hair this morning, and I could see a gash in the back of my head where I banged into the hood. So that's not cool. So I'll probably do that here in the next couple days, just to get that out of the way. And the car still needs a bunch more work, but I'm enjoying just being able to roll it out of the garage and play with it, tinker with it. It was like the most funnest thing to do on a car, is when you could just tinker with them. So, and I also am going to change the front springs on it. I got another set of springs. This set I cut 2 rows off and then took my torch and heated up the end of the coil so it would fit flat back in the A-arm. So it's just too much. I mean, if you look, it'll never live. The wheel will never turn. So I'm thinking we're going to do, on the next set of springs I put in here, I'll do 1 and see how that sits. But I was just kind of out here just messing with it today. I think I'm gonna get maybe a lint roller and roll the inside of the head, not the headliner, but the roof. It looks really clean on the camera. It's got a lot of debris on it from sitting around. So I don't know. When I'm out here just hanging out and I can start to slowly see all the different things I've done to it. Basically, this is a time where you can just kind of sit back and enjoy it. So, then I gotta start doing the inner wheel wells, and here's one of the filler panels for the driver's side. And the top 3 are where your regulator goes, and then that's where your horn relay goes. Which these are pretty decent, but I gotta strip them all down. Then I got the new O-ring that I gotta put on the filler tube so I can actually pour gas into it through the neck itself, where you normally would. And I got this up here because I want to go through and clean it all up. This old shifter, that's out of the gasser, because I'm going to put that in this car. It's got one in it, but you see it right there. It's got one in it. But that one over there is better. It's just, I don't know. I think it's a little bit nicer. There's the shock brackets that I cleaned up. It's kind of cool. It's still got the original washers that go on both sides of the shock to actually sit it in there the way it should be. And then if you look at this old regular, I saved off of one of the Nomads that I got from the junkyard. But if you see how the screws go on the outside of the actual cap itself, that's how the 55 Chevys come. 56 and newer, that the screws went on the side of them. And I was going to try to see if I could just hook that up temporarily to see if it'd work, but I'm going to have to buy one. I'm going to have to locate one. So, but that's all I was doing out here today, is just kind of tinkering with it a little bit here and there. I was really bummed I couldn't fire it up, but we'll get some fuel for it and get her back fired up here soon. Then I got to order fuel lines for it. I got to do a bunch of stuff to it still. But if I could just keep working under the hood and get the wheel wells cleaned up, then I could start working my way back, do the brakes on it. And I thought about, because I'm going to have to cut a hole in the floor on the hump to put the shifter in it. I thought about just for now getting under there and putting it in first gear where I could drive it out of the garage. But then I'd have to stop just all on the emergency brake. So, yeah. Really dig the old school Nomad door panels on there. Gives it a nice little touch. I was thinking about maybe doing a video on how to spot a real GM built 55, 56, or 57 Chevy convertible. just for buyers in the future. If it was something maybe you guys want me to go over this car and just show certain little things that you could tell if it was an original, because these cars have always been kind of desirable and valuable, and it wouldn't take much to take a hardtop and turn it into a convertible. But then that seller might want real convertible money for it, and if you're just getting into the hobby or don't really know your way around a Tri-5 real well, you could get yourself into some trouble. I had seen a 56 Chevy that was for sale. I don't know if it was on Marketplace or if maybe on eBay. It was a 56 Chevy convertible, but I could tell right away that that car was probably turned into a convertible probably back in the early 60s, or not early 60s, early 70s, excuse me. The 60s, they'd still be patching them up, but by the early 70s, mid 70s, they was buying rotted junk, and you know, they may even take a Pontiac and take the guts out of it and put it on a Tri-5. But if you guys wanted to see that video where I walk around this car and show you real specific telltale signs to look for that most people would overlook, I was thinking about doing that video just to kind of help people in the future, you know, down the line, if they was looking for a convertible, you know, because by the time you cut the top off and you get that top on there, you know, a lot of people, if they just walked up, they'd be like, well, you know, that's a convertible. But there's a lot of Tri-5 convertibles out there that, whether they're on a reproduction body or they're built from something else. So I was thinking maybe do a video to actually show what a real GM built Tri-5 body looks like, and the little things that it took to make it happen. So, well, 12 minutes into it, I guess I've bored you guys enough. I wish I could fire this up right now so we could just sit here and just enjoy a second of it running, but I got to get more fuel for it, which is a cool problem to have. So, well, thanks for stopping by Don's Hot Rod Garage. Hope everybody's doing well. Catch you guys on the next video.